Today, we're living in an ever-expanding world. New technology and new people are affecting our lives every day. But what precedent will this set for the future? What impacts will result? We believe that abundance is in our future and that we will overcome the many challenges that our species faces. We're not denying there are problems, there are many of them, but they can be solved. We are just in our technological adolescence. We can only imagine what we can achieve. First off, water. It's all around us, but most of it isn't drinkable. It's primarily seawater. Water availability is an issue coming to face society head-on. We can face it. With new and existing technology, we can treat previously undrinkable water and make it accessible and usable for our everyday needs. Currently, around 150 countries around the globe practice desalination. More than 17,000 plants are in use as of 2013, and 21.1 billion US gallons of water are produced daily for more than 300 million people who currently rely on this technology as their access to safe drinking water. Now, some of you might be asking, what is this process of desalination? In one of the more popular methods, reverse osmosis desalination, the seawater is pre-treated before being sent through a series of filtration membranes that removes the salt and other impurities. About half of the seawater becomes drinking water. The rest is returned to the ocean with higher concentrations of salt and other minerals. For coastal communities and areas in the Middle East with dry climates such as Israel, this technology is highly beneficial. Also in Israel, 75% of the country's sewage is recycled, the highest percentage in the world, and this data comes from Israel's National Water Company. More than 50% of water used in agriculture comes from treated sewage. This is an amazing feat. Imagine if most major cities in the US could convert their used sewage water, which is often a huge waste and just dumped back into the environment, if they could convert it into drinkable and potable water. This could help farms immensely with their water needs and California with their current situation of drought. We can't just rely on desalination and recycling though. We need to also account for the water usage and use ground shedding control technologies. In the future, these current technologies can only improve, and with more plants being built, large communities will have reliable and constant access to water. Also mentioned in a previous TED Talk, we saw the Slingshot water purification device developed by Dean Kamen. This is a fantastic new development and design which can in the future help bring safe drinking water to many remote areas in the developing world and also provide better access to water for first world countries. In the future, we'll likely have to cut back on our use of fresh drinking water and use the non-fresh drinking water available. Dean Kamen has announced several goals and characteristics for the machine as well over the coming decade, and this includes 5 years of operation without overhaul or maintenance. It'll use less than a kilowatt of power, that's less than a hairdryer. It'll generate 1,000 litres of pure water a day, that's enough for about 100 people for their hygiene and cooking needs, and it should meet a high standard of safety for its use. Solar devices may also be designed in mind with these purification devices, so they can be used in even more remote areas that don't have access to a power grid. We can hope to see thousands of these technologies be given to village entrepreneurs in much the same way that cell phone businesses thrived and gradually changed the face of many impoverished areas around the globe. Future production costs are also predicted to decline. This is a great vision and an achievable set of goals for our future, which we will achieve. As long as we make the access to these devices easy, we should have no problems in the future. Speaking of the future, in 2050 there will be an estimated 3 billion more of us on the planet, and 80% of this population will probably live in urban areas. This means that poorly planned urban expansion will lead to controversy over which land is dedicated to human housing and farming. One of the many solutions technology could solve with this problem is the implementation of vertical farming. This would require the use of skyscraper greenhousing for crop production. Growing food in vertical farm centers would increase yields, overcome land area limitations, cut transportation costs associated with moving food across country, and reduce harmful runoff, all of which are issues with traditional farming techniques. Scientists, as well as you and I, are concerned that severe damage to the earth will be caused by the added farmland, as the large amounts of land required are not available. If designed correctly, vertical farms may eliminate the need to create additional farmland. Some of the benefits that can be reaped include protection from weather-related problems and conservation of resources, as well as halting mass extinctions of species originally caused by our activity in their habitat. Large urban centers will be able to grow vast amounts of food without having to destroy considerably large areas of forest. When used in combination with socioeconomic and other technologies, vertical farming could allow cities to expand while remaining largely self-sufficient food-wise. It's highly unlikely that traditional farms will become obsolete, as many of the crops may not be suited for vertical farming. Still, as farm labourers move into the city to find work, the vertical farming industry will provide employment not only to them, but also to those in the expanding city centres. To create a portion of its own electrical needs, vertical farms could exploit methane digesters to transform the organic waste generated at the farm into biogas, which is primarily 65% methane along with some other gases. Methane digesters could be built on-site. To generate the electricity for the vertical farm, the biogas could then be burned. With less of an impact and greater crop production, vertical farming is likely a major technology that will help with the progress of our future. To support greater human populations in these expanding urban city centres, the growth also needs to be directed upwards rather than outwards, like the vertical farms. A greater population can then be housed in a smaller area, and less of a negative impact will occur on the environment. Energy, housing materials, and space can all be conserved in the progress. In the future, our energy production will be an evolving system. We will no longer have to rely on non-renewable, greenhouse gas-emitting energy resources. With these changes, there won't be a lack of energy, and consumable energy will become even more available to the vast majority of people. Hundreds of new developments in clean technologies are occurring, everywhere from new nano solar technologies, wind, carbon capture devices, to nuclear fusion even becoming available within the next few decades. Let's first mention new nano solar technologies. They can produce electricity at a rate almost as cheap as producing it from coal, and about 1/3 of the cost of current solar power. The thin panels used are perfect for mass production and widespread application due to them being very easy to use and available to print in a completely automated facility. Solar technology is becoming significantly more efficient and cheaper than ever, with vast improvements from both institutional and business-related research ventures. There are even roads able to generate electricity simply by being driven on. They use the compression of the road caused by the cars. That compresses small crystals, which then produces some amounts of electricity. In Europe today, this is being used on a small scale on bike paths, and potentially on a large scale, this could mean massive electrical outputs of more than 500 kilowatt hours per 100 meters. Hydrogen cells will likely become more efficient and more available, meaning cars and many other technologies could be running on 100% renewable energy cells. This would potentially mean an effective and clean way to dispose of some of the waste that we produce and provide a green choice for engines. Not only are there developments in energy production, but there are also new developments in nanowire technologies which could allow for much faster and powerful electronic devices. These devices could then be used in a multitude of different ways, including automation, research, better testing of new ideas, and basically accelerating our technological breakthroughs. These only brush the surface when it comes to developments in clean energy, and with so many different options, our future will be a time of plenty where the whole world can enjoy the benefits and no one has to worry about where the power comes from, and hopefully everyone will have access to it. And the best part is that these developments are not somewhere in the distant future. Some of these technologies are right on our doorstep today, and they can be used in the immediate future. To conclude, we are a creative and enterprising species, and we can use this to solve the many challenges that we face. We will tackle the problems head-on with current, existing technology, and we will no doubt build a better future for ourselves. Issues we face regarding the lack of water and its availability in the future, population growth, urban sprawl, our food needs, and access to multiple energy sources can all be solved with technology. We cannot let these problems overwhelm us by waiting until there is no other option but to act. We should act now and transform our society, our economics, worldviews, all around technology, and this will most definitely help us deal with the difficult tasks that lie ahead. Our future is one of abundance with technology, with basic human resources being distributed more evenly and access to them being more widespread. Thank you.